This is another weird thing that I was thinking about.
The director unsuccessfully argued in court that the excrement was actually chocolate ice cream.
Oh yeah, you know way too much about me.
If they had cat videos, they'd probably have more horns.
Somebody listening right now is offended and turned off Scrambled Egg.
That's the hill I will die on.
I respect it.
That escalated quickly, though.
By the way, it's called Scrambled YEGs.
So is the Game Changers your full-time gig? Is that what you're doing?
It's a little bit complicated, you could say. I mean, I do a lot of shit full time, to be honest. Still in university, so that's one of the in my last year. And then Game Changer is actually, you could say it's my full time thing.
Okay,
like I recently quit my job to actually pursue like the coaching side of things.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What were you doing before?
So I was actually a PBA at TD Bank.
Okay.
Yeah, so like it was actually a really nice job, not gonna lie. Like it's pretty comfortable. Have my own office, wear a nice suit, come in, very comfortable, look good, feel good. It's like a business type of vibe, you know what I'm saying? But but I think overall so like it just kind of didn't resonate with me in terms of like how I was investing my time. And for me, I'm always like, time is like the most valuable thing. Like it's never, like it's very limited. It's never going to come back no matter what you can do. Right. So for me, it's like every moment and every second, every day, it's like, how can I invest this to like fulfill my potential as much as I can? And like be my most happiest ideal self that I'm aiming for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Sounds like doing a lot of stuff for a lot of time.
Yeah, I know it's hard to keep the motivation up to
I think more than motivation, it's like self-awareness. I think if you have enough awareness about like, who I am as a person, what my beliefs are, what my values are, where my passion lies, I think that's like the base of every person. Like that's the first thing you got to figure out. And like from there, then you can kind of build on that. People are kind of always like, people go to like the end result already, like go into university. They don't even know what their passion is. Like I talk to some people. I'm like, oh, what's your plan after university? Like, oh, I don't even know. I'm just doing a degree in this first. Like it should be the other way around. You got to put your end result first, and then you got to come back and say, hey, this is what I want to do. Why do I want to do this? Right? You got to build your way backwards.
Yeah. It's insane how many people like create a plan without a vision. They're like, well, I'm working towards something. No, you're not. Dude.
Well, and university, like you say, you need to take time to figure out what you even want to do or care about in that first year or two of university, where you're sort of like, let's figure it out. And then I'm sure there's a lot of people who are just halfway to a degree at that point that they're like, well, I may as well just finish my, and then afterwards they're
dude, you just quoted my entire university career at this point. Like that's basically it. Like I started, I was in my first year, and
what are you taking, by the way?
I'm doing a Bachelor of Commerce. Okay. And my major is entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Yeah. But I would advise anyone who's watching, like, don't do it. Like
you heard it here first.
I'm just being honest right now.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, university is a piece of shit. Like in the 4 years that I've been, you're telling me you're dropping 40 G's to learn how to start a business. I don't think you can. I think that 40 grand can be invested so much better
into the business.
Into a business. Yeah.
Imagine instead of spending 40 G's on university, whatever your idea is when you come out, like if you would just put that 40 G's into the business.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like there's some of the entrepreneurship teachers, like some of them are good, but some of them I'm talking to, I'm like, yeah, so what do you do? They're like, I'm like, have you ever started a business? Like, no. You're teaching entrepreneurship, okay.
Yeah. That's like when I was in journalism back in the day, I had some teachers that weren't like active journalists, and I was kind of like, well, I got a job at a radio station halfway through. So my second year, I'm like, I am a working journalist. You're not.
Dude, that was frustrating for me as even just as a mechanic, dude, because I'd worked at a shop for like 4 years.
Yeah.
And so I'd learned the basics of like cars, like how to do oil changes and like all the fluid flushes and change out like filters and rotate tires and do all that shit.
Yeah.
And then I got a job as like a first year mechanic, and they were like, okay, so we're just going to have you change an oil till you get used to the shop. And I was like, dude, I've been doing this for like 5 years.
Look, man, I think at this point, like you just summed it up with your experience. Like university is super overrated. You hear this news about Google and Apple not requiring university degrees anymore. Like these are top companies.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like if you apply to Google, you don't need a university degree. You don't. They removed that requirement now.
Yeah, wow.
So
that opens things up a lot.
Yeah. So
I mean, there's some stuff where it's like obviously helpful. Like my brother just graduated and like it was great for him because without his degree, like he would not be able to do the job that he's actually passionate about.
Exactly.
But it's a science degree and he's working with like very specific like chemistry.
Definitely.
Like he's working with microchemistry that there's no other place where you're going to pick up that skill.
And then the other side of it is just completely vague and open-ended.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
Yeah.
I wonder what this can get me. Like,
Yeah, I feel like schools and universities need to go back to being like scientific institutions. You know what I mean? Like the arts don't belong in school.
it's a business customer like relationship right now. It's not an academic relationship.
No,
Yeah.
it's a business, man. Come on.
Yeah, big time.
You're telling me for 4 years of education you need $10,000 a year? Like,
Yeah,
come
dude.
on, man.
And those
Yeah.
books that like every year,
Oh my
the
goodness,
same,
man,
the
don't
same
tell me.
course needs a new book every year, so you
Jeez.
can't even buy it from
'Cause
the
they-
last guy. You have to buy the brand new edition because there's new charts.
Yeah,
Oh
they,
my
they
God.
changed a word in chapter 4. Motherfuck, chapter 4. Could you
That's so
bootleg
true,
me
man.
page 67?
Jeez, man. One of my it's funny because like I think a couple of days ago, one of my buddies like we're all students and like low-key everyone's kind of broke at this point.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
university, right? So
Yeah.
he texts me. We were supposed to meet up and he texts me. But he's like, bro, I need your help. I'm like, what? He's like, bro, my credit card declined. I'm like, that's when you know. That's when your
Yeah.
textbooks are expensive when your credit card is like declining. Like
He
his bill
must
was
be a
like
great student.
like his like bill was like $400 something. I'm like, geez, like for,
Oh, man.
for buying 2 textbooks,
books.
like damn,
Yeah.
suck my soul, like geez.
Yeah, that's
Like-
terrible.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
It's a
Kanye
whole
made
other
a whole
industry.
fucking
Yeah.
album about this.
What's
But I
that?
mean,
It's like Kanye made a whole fucking album about this.
no, honestly, it's it like you're right. It kind of depends on like your own path. So you got to figure out if it's necessary for you. Like if it's a very technical field like engineering or you're going into medicine or even business like finance or accounting, that makes sense. But
Yeah.
if it's something theoretical like
Yeah.
entrepreneurship or like even marketing, I'm sure like you could learn more doing like a 3-month marketing course like from like
Totally.
a actual company than like in school.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dude, absolutely. Like an internship or even just like getting your feet wet. That's the same thing with comedy, dude. It's like, don't ever do a comedy course. Anyone who wants to get out into stand-up comedy, never. Do you know what's way more valuable? Just go out to a comedy show. Just do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure business is the same shit. It's like,
Bro.
don't go out to just go talk to a business. Just be like, hey,
Exactly.
man, how did you guys start? Like, what?
Exactly.
Just what's going on here?
That's so true. Like the first time when I actually like this is like my 3rd project that I'm working on. I've done like 2, like I had actually 3 failed projects before this that I kind of tried out. They were like different issues with different ones, but it's a work in progress, right? You kind of it's a process of understanding yourself, process of understanding like how you want to invest your time, what matters to you, what you're good at, building a skill in something, and just kind of bringing that to everyday life. It's like the first thing that I thought, I'm like, okay, you want to do something that you wouldn't mind like doing for the rest of your life and be like, I'm proud of what I did. I'm proud of how I invested and spent my time.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess you sort of expect to have a few failed projects before you start.
Definitely. Like,
And that's how you get experience doing things.
really, it's like failure is like, honestly, like failure just changed my perspective on everything. Now it's like before I would like kind of question like look at whether like why me kind of thing, like why is this stuff like, we often do that, like something unfortunate happens, like why is this happening to me, right? But now I'm just like I'm actually grateful for it because it's like the universe has created an opportunity and like forced you into an uncomfortable situation that's irreversible and that's gonna cause growth for sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like giving an opportunity, push you out there, be like, hey man, I'm giving you an opportunity to grow because you were stagnant and you were like in a constant stage of just consistency. But here you go. Be uncomfortable, grow.
Yeah.
One, like, it's an old sports cliche, but it's like you lose more or you learn more from losing than you do from winning. It's like, yeah, you go on a huge win streak, great, everyone feels good and you're happy, but like no one's progressing. But then you get your ass beat by like the last place team in the league.
Yeah.
It's like that's where you grow from. That's where you really see like, okay, where did we fuck up? What have we not been doing that they expose? Like what?
Yeah.
So I feel like
Exactly.
life is the same way where it's like, okay, yeah, when something fails, you're like, okay, what did I do wrong?
Exactly.
Like, what did that failure expose that I need to change for the next project and the next thing? I think everything's like that.
Yeah,
man.
and sometimes you fail because you realize you're not passionate about the thing you thought you were passionate about.
yeah,
That's
think
so
that-
true. That's so true. It's
Yeah.
like it needs to align with your beliefs. First thing you got to do, it's like you got to understand your own beliefs, your own value system, and those beliefs and values come from the choices and experience you've made in your entire life thus far, right? And then now you're like, okay, this is my belief system. This is what really matters to me. And then based off of that, then you start thinking, okay, this is what I want to do. So I think like your foundation needs to be correct, and you need to have a real intent of saying, hey, am I really doing this just because like I think it's a cool idea and I want to make money, or is just like, am I going with the right intent where I can use my passion, use my skill, use like my greatness, and find a way to love this every day and like create a service for other people, create a solution.
Yeah, it's fun because you find people who are like that in like everyday life too. It's funny because some people think that when you talk like that, it's like you have to be like, I want to be an astronaut, but it's like, no, man. Someone was telling me, I forget who was talking about this, but it was like, yeah, if my daughter like is like, I want to be a cook, it's like, okay, just be the best fucking cook you can possibly be. Like that's 100%. It. Like if you want to be a garbage man, just be King Garbage Man.
Be the best garbage man.
Best garbage man.
Yeah, be the union. Be the
find
leader.
a way to do it quietly on my street in the fucking Monday morning.
Exactly. Be the fastest like leader of the union of the garbage men.
Yeah,
Whatever. Just be the best at it.
Just imagine like telling your parents that. Be like, what's your passion? Like, what is something that really resonates with you? That's like, I just love taking out the garbage.
Yeah.
Like, shit.
I want to be a garbage man. Okay, start by taking out the trash.
Yeah,
dude.
Shit backfired.
Bro, for real. I knew a girl who started her own business just cleaning houses, and she's like, I love just putting my music in and just cleaning the house. She didn't mind like doing dishes and getting the baseboard scrubbed, and she like found it like just peaceful to vacuum and like watch the lines go in the carpet. Like she loved it, and so she's like, I'll just clean other people's houses and they'll pay me to do it because they hate it.
Dude, I heard there's a YouTube star where it's just her doing exactly that. Just a YouTube channel of a lady cleaning houses. But cleaning her own house, I think, and people find it like really therapeutic to just watch.
It's like aesthetic, like it's like so satisfying videos. Basically.
Yeah. And you think like, man, there is a market for everything. Like this is a YouTube star.
Yeah, bro.
And it's just a woman that cleans houses.
But I respect that, honestly, like to have the fucking humility to like to actually like be like, yo, this is my passion. Because other people would like kind of label that, right? Oh, really? Like people be like, oh, cleaning stuff, like really? That's all you got?
Like you're a maid.
Yeah,
like,
you love being a maid. Like that's like the cap of like your entire passion. Like but like having the humility to be like, fuck what like the.
But the other thing is like she wasn't just a maid. She's an entrepreneur. She started her own business.
Exactly.
She writes the book. She does it herself. Like if she gets too busy, she hires someone else to come do like
exactly
the other houses.
And I imagine at some point she'll be out of the actual cleaning game and just have a network of people doing it for her, and then she just be back to cleaning recreationally.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm sure she loves. Like back to the house, like, ooh, let's mop this motherfucker.
Dude, some people actually like really have like serious like they just find serious satisfaction in this.
Yeah.
Like just like, oh, what are you doing? Like I'm just cleaning, like just for fun. Like I know so many people that just like OCD. And they just love cleaning like every single day. It's like their like life purpose to like just clean. I'm like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's nuts. And like that's the thing.
You can get famous doing it.
Yeah, but that's like what you're saying. Like, find your passion. It doesn't have to be like this ridiculous, like huge, crazy goal. It's like, just
start a garbage man vlog.
Yeah.
Let us know what it's like. Day in the life, man. History Channel would buy that shit. Ice road truckers, like alley garbage truck drivers.
Bro, but even my dad,
dude doing his route.
My dad taught me this lesson hard when I was a kid, because even like he was just a scaffolder, like he was just a rig dude, and he was like the same thing. He was like, I just want to be the best scaffolder, and he's like, eventually like people get to know you because you're working hard. You can find a job easier. You work your way up, become a foreman, and all this shit. By the end of like when he was going to retirement, he could like pick jobs. He's like, well, I just want to like go do some labor work, some easy like a shutdown, and so he'd like pick up shutdown. Like it's crazy. He'd get name hired by his friends who like knew who he was, and it's like because he was good. Like
and just that also shows you how much like how important networking is, and how important like just being like showing up and working, but also being someone that people are like, that guy works hard. Yeah. And like people start to know you, and then all of a sudden, you're in a position where you're choosing the jobs you want to do. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
But like some people just try really hard to be like project like a certain image of like how they want to be perceived. But dude, like people don't want like just be yourself, be authentic. Yeah. Like I think that's what people really end up loving the most. And that reminds me like one of my mentors, like the first thing he told me, he was like, like everyone has some sort of greatness inside them. Like every single person, you've had a cumulative lifespan of experiences that have built up, and that's created like some sort of special skill or some sort of special greatness and power that you have. Now it's your duty to learn and like understand it and like go out there and project it or put it into action in some sort of form.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's deep.
That's super deep.
I like that.
That's what one aspect of comedy is like. Everyone's got their whole lifetime of unique experience and everyone's got their own unique spin because of that on everything that you come across. Exactly. And so you could get a room full of comics joking about the same thing and it's 5 different experiences, even if you're similar experiences. Like what's important and unique about everyone is the fact that we've all got this just us unique background and perspective.
Yeah. It's crazy when you see like twins who like have you ever noticed like they're different but they're the same because they're like so tight, like twins that actually grow up like wearing the same shirt, like those weird twins. Did you know any of those in school?
No. I can never understand why would you do that,
dude. We had
like just trying to like mess up other people, like, oh, guess who's who, like, come on, dog, like, why are you making shit difficult?
No one thinks it's funny. We don't like either of you, actually. I don't care who's who. Both of you get the fuck out.
Get different haircuts.
Yeah,
get different haircuts. It's so easy.
But I've always like that's always been like an interesting thing. Like, you know, I wish I always had a twin who can like go write my exams. You know the shit you see in movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a smart twin, and I'm the cool one.
Yeah,
like a nerd and the cool one, and I'm like, hey man, I got math
wear
today.
Wear this hat backwards and pretend you're me.
You fucking dork. And then like punch their own arms, so the other person's like, oh. Because apparently twins have some like. Oh, telekinetic shit.
Spidey tingle.
They can feel each other's pain.
That's funny.
Oh man, jeez.
I've always wondered if that's true, but it's probably not.
Look, man, okay, that's actually true. Like to some extent, because like I took like a psych class just for as an option, and like they kind of teach us like, oh, we do like there's like this documentary we're like supposed to watch about like fraternal twins, right? That's what they're called. Yeah, it's like the same. So like because of like their DNA, their personalities are very similar. And if they end up like living together in the same environment, because like everyone's personality, so how it works is like 40% it's like your DNA, 40% is your like the environment you grow up in, and then 20% is like your own personal like DNA, basically, you could say. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm getting some terms wrong, but it's like that. Like, I'm not a biology student, but so that makes up their personality. So if it's like someone same genetics, almost the same genetics, and the same environment, like they're very, very similar.
Yeah. Yo, me and my brother, that's super funny. My brother and I are super similar. He's like a year and a half older than I am. But he's lived in BC for like 5 years, and we met up like just to hang out before he left. And his girlfriend was like, yeah, you guys sound the same. You look the same. Like your mannerisms are the same. Like it is weird that you guys are so similar. And we were both just, and even like the way we act, we were just like, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what to tell you.
Just white dude things, you know how it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
both
much.
Great dancers.
Huge vert on us.
What's his name? Is his name Craig?
His name is Patrick.
Oh, Patrick. Okay.
Yeah, Patrick.
You're just guessing
Alex.
white names? Or
yeah, I'm like that sounds like a Craig right there. You know, that's definitely a Craig right there.
Craig or a Gary.
Jeez.
Guys named Gary are always just so white. I don't think I've ever met an ethnic Gary in my life.
No, probably not. They'd be trying too hard.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just using the whitest name of all time. That's not fair.
All right, okay, we had questions here. We should get
For
to these
sure.
at some point. So, okay, yeah, you also have a podcast going. So that's
definitely.
So season 1, you just got the one season.
Season
out?
1 just got wrapped up. If you guys want to know, Game Changers podcast. So. Season 1 was amazing, honestly. It was like first time I actually ever did anything like this, and it was all off of a whim. I'm just like, man, I want to do something for all these future generations coming up, and I'm like, man, I'm seeing all these future kids, just like you know, like I see like a 14-year-old that's like smoking jewels, and I'm like, dude, what's going on? Like on their phone, literally on Snapchat all day long, on Instagram. Yeah. Like where's this future generations headed? Like what's going on with the future here? Yeah. So I'm like, man, I really want to do something in a matter to like inspire these kids and like show them a different perspective of who you could be, right?
Nice. So you have 8 episodes on the old podcast now?
Yeah, we have 8.
Have you grown, do you think, from like the first to the 8th episode? Like what's the biggest like thing that you've learned from podcasting?
As a podcaster, like as a host?
Yeah, because it's weird, man. It's weird getting into it.
It is.
I remember my first few podcasts, especially when you have a guest on and you're like, so what do you do?
Yeah. I can definitely relate. I think on our first one, because at the end of the day, you have to kind of forget about yourself, and you have to say, like, this is content. The main goal is to create content, like rich content for the viewers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how can I intensify the richness of the content in terms of the quality, in terms of like how it's perceived, and like making it as accessible and as knowledgeable as possible. So I think initially when we first started, we kind of like made it like an interview. It was like, oh, hi. Like, so you do this, you want to talk about, and like we were not involved in the conversation. It was actually the guest kind of leading the conversation and kind of, you know, taking the podcast over at some point. And like, you know, over time we kind of learned, like, you know, our involvement is very important. It's very important to like maintain enthusiasm throughout the entire podcast, because it's content, right?
Yeah.
Like you lose 10 seconds of enthusiasm, you're like monotone, like, hey, like someone's gonna turn it off, like, oh, this is boring, I'm gonna watch something else.
Yeah, there's so much out there.
Well,
There's so many like entertainment outputs.
Yeah.
So it's such a huge learning opportunity, and like by the end, like we just learned, you know, it's so important to, you know, make it a conversation like you guys do, and I really like that because it's very chill. Like we kind of had it very structured at the start, but then we kind of changed it up a little bit. We were like, okay, we want to add a little bit of structure, but also kind of make it a bit of a conversation, because that's where the natural emotion comes out, right?
Exactly.
And and that's how you exhibit communication with like the audience. Like if you in communication, that's like the first thing they teach you, where, you know, it's 15% words, 35% it's tone, and 50% is body language. So it's like words like matter very little in terms of like how you say it, the tone you carry out throughout the entire podcast, the body language. That's what really grabs the attention of the viewer, right?
Oh yeah, you can turn someone off right away if you're just like.
Yeah.
If you
So
slap
anyways,
the mic on the table.
So anyways, you'll lose people pretty quick.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy too, like being the host. At some point you really realize, like, oh, I have to keep this conversation going for like a serious amount of time, which is like harder than I think most people understand.
Yeah.
It's like, try talking to someone at the office for a whole straight hour. I dare you. Go up to the boringest person in your office and be like, all right, let's try and get something interesting out of this dude for an hour.
I think it's like there's no in between. It's either like 10 minutes in, you're like, okay, where's this conversation going? Or either it's like you're an hour and a half deep in and you're like, bro, I don't want this to end.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. So, what kind of guests do you have? Like, where do you get your guests from? Like, who?
Yeah.
So, like, the main criteria for a guest is, like, we think someone... So, first is, like, someone who we find intriguing. It's like, okay, we have, like, a genuine curiosity of, like, I want to get to know this person. If we have it, then I'm sure other people would want to have it, too. They need to have, like, some sort of a game-changing factor, or, like, something extraordinary that they've accomplished in terms of, like, what they've done, possibly based on their age or, like, the impact they've had. And then also it's kind of like...
So what does that mean? Like a game changer? What's... Like, who have you brought on? And like,
so
what's
I
an
can say, like, every
of
single
that?
person we've had, they've had some sort of game-changing factor.
Yeah.
You know, first of all, we had, you know, he's a Lolly Tour. He's a founder of Upna Hockey. It's you know, he's building a South Asian sports community, and based off his own experience of like when he experienced racism when he started out in hockey, and you know, like, and his own journey and his own experiences. Now he's trying to create a platform where that gives support to all these South Asian players coming up, because, you know, hockey's like always been like a white sport, you could say. So there's a lot of racism in it, and he's trying to be there for these kids. And, you know, you see like with all the Don Cherry stuff that happened and all this like racism that's coming out in hockey, he's been doing interviews with like CBC on the National and stuff. That. So like it's people with like the credibility that are trying to do something positive in terms of like and following their passion, not just like the intent really matters. I think that's what we really look for, like what their intention is. Yeah. Like you know, whatever they're working on. You know, we had an artist, Rahman Hamid. He does art for like basketball players, professional basketball, NBA players.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he's worked in collaboration with Floyd Mayweather and the Money Team for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So like he's done art for all these guys, and it's not just like he's making art. It's like if you look at his art, it's very unique. He kind of incorporated his own passion for like you know, Marvel cartoons and like Disney and stuff like that, and like different like even anime stuff like that, and he kind of made it into like a really like, you know, very colorful piece of art, and other people who had similar interests kind of resonated with it. So it's like turning your passion, like your own belief system, and then kind of made it you know, build credibility in that industry that you really care about, And I think that's what we have like a similar pattern. Like anyone you can pull up, you can say this person's credible. This person's doing something extraordinary for, based off their age or the impact that they've had. And, they're very kind of, they're going places, leaders, right? Following their passion.
Sounds like it's all like super unique too. Like it all seems like it's not, we see a lot of podcasts where guys are like, okay, and this is another guy who's, an actor. It's like they just interview like 10 actors, and it's like, okay, but none of them are doing where it's like, no, this is an actor who wrote his own play and is like performing it on a mountain or whatever. Like, it's like, that's the dude that I want to interview.
Let's go,
The Old Spice guy wrote a play. Exactly. He's doing a play on a mountain, on a horse.
That's what I mean. Like, Free Solo wasn't made about some mountain climber. It was like this dude who doesn't rope himself in and climb the hardest mountain
the
in the
limit
world.
pushing people.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think it's also about bringing variety and also building a connection. When you have someone, let's say if I'm listening to a podcast and it's maybe Elon Musk I'm listening to, it hits differently if it's like someone who's like from like the same hallways you walk at U of A, and you see this person every day and he's like 2 years older than you. You're like, yo, if he can do it and I see this person every day, then it's like brings a new level of relativity to it, and it brings a new level of belief to it.
Yeah,
you connect with them a lot more. You say same city, same upbringing almost, same environment in terms of upbringing, and same education. If this person can do it and be successful in their passion, then so can I, right?
Yeah, it is interesting that like a lot of times when you see like celebrity or like these people like Elon Musk and stuff, it makes all these things seem like so unachievable. Yeah. But then when it's like someone you're like, oh, well, it's just fucking Kyle.
Yeah, it's just that guy. Like, fuck that guy.
There's a comedian who had this bit about he played in like the same league as Sidney Crosby, and he's like, yeah, growing up, every single time we played him, everyone was like, he's not that fucking good. Like, come on, like I've laid a couple hits on him, and then like it turns out he is that fucking good. Actually,
But it's funny when someone completely unattached to you does something great, you're like, wow, like they must have something that I don't have. But the reality is they're just another person somewhere who like got the shine at the right time, kind of thing.
Definitely. And like we just call it like a game changer mindset, like what you said, right? That shot. It's like everyone who's brought on, like it's like a mindset of like a growth mindset. People looking to make mistakes, people looking to learn, people looking to, people that are unsatisfied but always maintain like a form of happiness. People that are trying to create a service for the world or creating a solution to make the world better, and going with the right intention of not just making money. People that are following their passion, stuff that they love, stuff that aligns with their belief system. So, and these are like credible people, because like personally for me, it's like it's super important that anyone who comes on has to be like the top of the top.
Right.
Like that's what we aim for, because like think of it like we want like the most credible person to come on. It's like we bring any random dude on and it's like, oh yeah, bro, like it's like he's basically creating influence, and like if I'm listening to it and if it's not a credible person, I might follow it and it might end up like failing or something, right? So it's like basically like maybe a doctor who, like, maybe let's say we bring on like a so-called doctor and he actually hasn't done any like
cool shit.
Yeah. Hasn't done any like
have
like
you seen a heart,
studying.
bro?
Yeah.
Cool. What's it like? What's it feel like, man?
Is it squishy?
Yeah, it makes sense to be aiming for someone that would have something to say, basically, not just like.
And that's proven success for it,
Yeah.
You see, like we had like a makeup artist, and makeup artistry is like so popular right now. Every third girl has like a MUA page at this point. So it's like
what?
It's like MUA. It's like makeup artist. So
Oh,
like they'll add their name, like, and then they'll add MUA.
Is that just like a online thing? I've never heard.
Yeah,
of
like
this.
on Instagram. Have you seen that? Like,
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of girls like really like they're good at makeup, so like, oh, I should just start a makeup page then.
Right.
Yeah. Like, the most obvious thing to do, of course. Just
That's
Like
funny.
the person who's like really great at cleaning houses, like I'm
Yeah.
gonna make a YouTube channel,
Exactly.
and people are like, we love it.
I've noticed that with hair. Like every hairdresser has like their hair Instagram account.
Oh yeah. I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about. But like it's different than if like you just have an Instagram and you have like 10 posts compared to like the person we had on, like Rima Alec. She has like she's like 21. And she has like her own. She just opened up like her own studio, like her makeup studio.
Oh wow.
She's booked for like the next 2 years. She's leading a team of 10, And
Damn.
she just opened like a med spa as well for like hydrofacials, like more technical, like esthetician stuff like that. So I'm like, this is someone I can say has enough credibility to come and talk on this topic.
Right.
They're proven success, right?
Yeah. Is there one of the guests from season 1 that stood out for you in terms of the interview, or what you found out, or what you know?
I mean, there's like, I think every one of them has like something really extraordinary to share.
Yeah.
And that's like the most political.
I know. I was like,
answer.
I bet you was gonna say everyone, except episode 4.
Except episode 4. Honestly, I'd say the one that really resonated with me was, I'd say like the first one, like Lolly Tour.
Mm-hmm.
Like his experience, I think he's just a really good speaker overall too. And when he shared his story of like, you know, racism and like how he kind of transformed, he's very authentic. Like he shared a story of like racism and like how he kind of grew up like like, you know, that bad boy hockey image kind of thing. Yeah. But like, it's a very cool experience getting to know his like own story and how he transformed that into, you know, no other kid should have to go through that. Mm-hmm. And it's like it's one of the longest podcasts we did. It went on for like a really long time, like an hour and a half.
Oh yeah.
But like, it was just a really great conversation that we had with him. And I think that one of the most amazing things you get to learn, you guys do this too, like when you do have guests on, it's like you build like a really great connection with someone. Mm-hmm. And that connection kind of stays long, like for a longer time.
Yeah. I was going to ask if you follow the trajectory of the people you talk to, or if you
so
plan
crazy.
to.
Like, so me, like actually recently, like me, Lolly, and you know, one of our other like team members, Kunal, he does videography, and like there's another guest we had called Spontively, and like basically just launched their app, which allows you to kind of go on like kind of see everything that's going on like locally, like at the moment, or like in the coming future. So it's kind of like Eventbrite mixed with like Google Maps. Like literally you open it's like a map and it shows like what's happening where. And it's pretty cool.
Pretty good for comedy shows.
Would be
Yeah.
great to promote comedy shows on
Yeah, yeah, you guys should definitely try it out.
I've heard of that app actually. I've seen it come across my feed a couple times.
So these guys were recommended to us by actually Lolly.
Okay.
And then like it's so funny, like we went up to OG Jonah. He was another one of our guests. He's a rapper. One of the most popular rappers in Edmonton. And we went to his like it was like a music video you know, shoot, and he invited us. And then Lolly guys were also there. And then you know, a Spontively team was also there. And we all ended up like just hanging out, like having we just built this great community of all these like leaders and like, you know, having this great conversation. Then we actually went like later on, we just hung out, like literally just getting drinks until like 2-3 a.m. just like talking on like, similar topics. So get to build like a really great network.
Yeah, so you're starting to see that happen with your own network.
Yeah, like it just leveled up basically because like
awesome.
people that kind of you can connect with on the mindset. Plus you get to learn so much, right? Like these are successful people that are doing what they love. I'm sure they're doing something right. Their values are right. Their process of whatever they're doing is correct. So it's like you get to learn so much, and it's a great experience.
That's sick. Do you got plans for season 2? Are you guys lining people up? Do you got changes coming through? Do you got anything?
Season 2, like we're looking to build even a bigger team.
Nice.
And you know, in terms of like marketing, like we're really focusing on, again, rich content, right? I actually watched this video on, you know, Mr. Beast.
No.
Mr. Beast, have you heard of him?
No.
Really? Oh, okay, I'm surprised. Mr. Beast does like YouTube videos.
Okay.
And he's like the fastest growing YouTuber ever. Like he's at 15 million in like about a year or so. Like on there.
Good Lord, what does he do?
So he just like kind of gives stuff away. Literally, that's what he does. So like one of his like most popular videos is like, oh, I ordered pizza and I tipped a house.
What?
Yeah.
That is
and it's
insane.
Like, and he one of his challenges was like it's like 4 people on their hand on like a package of $1 million. Last person to take their hand off $1 million keeps it.
Oh, what?
It's crazy. And like and his like all of his videos have like 10 million plus views. It's unreal. This guy's crazy. Like he's giving out like he opened up a free car dealership. Like
what?
Yeah, it's like people come in and like he opened up a free bank. He's like, oh yeah, come take money for free. He gave out a free bank.
Oh,
giving 10K to people. He's like, oh, you want more money, man? Here you go.
What
10
did he
10.
do to start with? Like, where did he get the money to start with?
Yeah,
like it's just crazy. I think he like invested a lot of his own money. And so like he started making lots of content like that where he's kind of giving away stuff, and like all the money he was getting, I think basically what he did is like, so let's say he's getting like 20 million views, he'll get $1 million from that, or like maybe somewhere near like 400,000, or like a couple videos like that, and then he'll invest that back into like giving more away, right, and then he's making more and more unique content that no one out there is making or is willing to do. It's crazy. He's giving like
insane.
he gave away like $2-3 million this entire year. It's unreal.
Mr. Beast. Yeah.
He's
Goddamn. I would pick if you asked me what industry Mr. Beast works in, be like, well, it's
And
probably,
he did this like
Mr. Beast make.
he did this like challenge. It was like plant 20 million trees or something. I don't know if you saw that on YouTube.
No.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he encouraged people to like plant 20 million trees, and like they actually ended up planting 20 million trees.
That's great. I guess, yeah, if like every person who views this video goes and plants one tree.
Yeah.
yeah. Or even if
I think it was like donation
50%
based.
of the people.
I think it was like donation based. Like, oh, donate like $5, and like every dollar you donate, it's like one tree we plant for you.
Oh, okay.
And he ended up raising $20 million. It's unreal.
That's insane.
And like,
we got to think of something weird
Sick.
to do.
so basically,
Yeah.
coming back to like what the main concept of Mr. Beat, what he's done is like he's reinvested back into his content,
Mhm.
and in terms of he's like made it very rich. He's added humor to it. He's added like that giving away factor to it.
yeah.
He just added like it's just a lot of stuff that he just kind of combined together, and I think that's what we're really pushing for like the next season. We want to add music, we want to add good aesthetic, good quality, improve like us, like even as hosts, like we want to improve, deliver better. Even our guests, we want to level up even more, like get the cream of the cream, like the best people.
Yeah.
Right, make as much professional content as we can, and just like improve overall quality. And I think that will resonate more with people. Hopefully, people have shown us a lot of love in like our first year, so hopefully it continues and we still continue to inspire more people.
When are you starting to when will that content come out or start coming out?
Currently we're aiming for like around March or so,
Nice.
but let's see, hopefully by March. It's a spoiler, actually. I've first place I've actually said it's coming out March.
Nice.
Yeah.
Little sprinkled drops on
Yeah.
there. There we
Yeah.
go.
Salt Bay, little Salt
Little
Bay.
Salt
right,
Bay.
that's right.
March, baby. It's coming up. Springtime.
Yeah, no, just stay tuned, guys. We're working on a lot of stuff
Yeah.
right now in terms of content and our team, and like we got a really huge vision for this, so it's going.
I'm sure you're looking forward to not being in school as much.
Oh, yeah.
That'll probably free up some time.
Yeah, you know it. Like I spend a lot more time like thinking about this and like working on this and like really school, to be honest, because this is like my baby. This is what I want to end up focusing on, like spending all my energy doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is like my main thing. School's like on the side, whatever.
School's your
I'll get a
side
degree,
shit.
graduate, whatever, man. Like it's
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I'll get a degree, graduate, whatever.
Yeah. Not like I'm paying for it. I'm coming from a Brown
Yeah.
family. You know, my parents got me like that.
It's so funny, like family got school covered.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
school, that's about it. They don't pay for school. That's so funny. I love that. So you're done school, and then so the other side of the business then. So you've got the podcast side, and then the other side is the life coaching side.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. So life.
Tell us what a life coach is. Because
So-
it's a term I've heard a lot,
Yeah.
but I don't really know.
Okay, so first thing, if you ever come across a life coach,
Yeah.
first thing you want to ask them is like, are you trained or certified? That's the first thing you want to ask them.
Yeah.
Because nowadays it's very easy to go out there and call yourself a life coach, but like again, coming back to that concept we're talking about, like you're out there helping people, but you haven't trained anything yourself. So what are you
Yeah.
helping for?
Yeah.
And it's like it's like a whole art to life coaching. Like it's like I did like 8 months of training so far for like my first level of coaching, and there's so much to learn, and it's a huge practice. And in terms of what like a life coach does is basically, let's say you come to me and you say like, okay, let's do a little session for a minute. So tell me something that you're kind of what's the one thing. What's something that could help you be more successful in your personal and professional life?
More energy.
Okay. What does more energy look like to you?
Being able to put, having the energy to put time into all the different things that I'm trying to do.
Okay. Then we would go on and ask, okay, what's an ideal goal for the session? So let's see, maybe like for the 1 minute, what's an ideal goal for this 1 minute?
Figuring out what a life coach does.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you like to walk away with the feeling of what a life coach does?
8.
8. And
Yeah.
where you are at right now?
A 1. That's a 1.
Yeah,
Oh,
like a 5. I'll say a middle
You're slowly,
middle
like,
of the
through,
road.
through this conversation.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Getting more. It's getting
It's like
more.
the decibel reader.
It's
like-
increasing. Yeah, it's increasing. Okay, so you talked about more energy. What's the if your best friend was going through the same thing, what advice would you give to them?
That's a good question. Yeah. Sleep more and eat better.
Okay.
Probably.
What's the first action step that you can what's the easiest action step you can take towards eating more and sleeping more?
Going to bed earlier.
Exactly. See?
Right.
I just coached you.
So
inside
that's a
minute.
very simple question.
Yeah.
but on a broader scheme.
So what basically we do is the main goal is to create awareness. Lots of people think like life coaches is like, I'm here to preach about me. Like this is what I do. This is what you should do too. No, it has nothing to do with me. We give no advice. Like it's more so about kind of creating awareness for you, saying you want to work on something, and we kind of build on it, asking questions that generate emotional awareness, that lead to insights, that lead to reflections, and then that further lead to action that you can take for yourself. After those action steps you decided, then as a coach, it's my job to like provide positive reinforcement, and also like if you want, I can keep you accountable, provide the support and guidance, because like to create habit change, it takes like it's very difficult to change a habit, because
for sure, yeah.
It's like you have to reprogram your mind, like your subconscious paradigm basically. And as a coach, you can even for you have like, I'm taking a coach, I'm accountable to them. I'm taking coach for this, so it's my job to constantly say, I see you next week. I'm like, that last week we talked about this. How's that going for you?
Yeah,
Right?
I guess it's the same idea behind like getting a personal trainer, where people are
Similar
like, "Well, they'll be pissed off if I don't come," or
Exactly.
they do that to have someone hold them accountable.
Exactly.
Much
But
the same way.
Similar to that again, and it's like how a personal trainer would like kind of see, what you want to achieve, what you want to get out of this, and based on that, that's how we coach. It has nothing to do with us. It's more so, it's like an art. Like we can't use very judgmental words. I'm not even allowed to say good. If you say something, I can't say good.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not. I can't even have a tone of good. I can't even.
You
say
have to
it.
be like fucking right.
I have to be very emotionally neutral. Like
Okay.
I have to train for like to be very emotionally neutral in how I speak.
I thought you meant you had to go like all the way, like killing it.
No, absolutely not.
Good.
No reinforcement, positive or negative.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
allowed to negative reinforce?
No, like I can't do anything. I have to ask questions in the most neutral way as possible. And like obviously if we're laughing, that's fine. But
Yeah.
I can't give you reinforcement during the session, right? Or I can't tell you that this is good or this is bad. I can't judge that. I'm only here to create awareness for you. I have to be very neutral in the language I use. I have to be very neutral in my tone that I use, and like even body language.
So you mentioned 8 months of training. Like where's that from? And you mentioned like basically your first level. Like is there more training to do after?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like how long does that go on for? Like what is that all about?
So there's a common board called the ICF, which is International Coaching Federation. So under the ICF, there's they approved a lot of institutions that teach coaching, saying these institutions are ICF approved, and we're permitting them to teach. And after graduating from them, then that means you've done a certificate of like a coaching course, and then you come back to us as ICF and get your credentials, right? So I did it from one of those. I kind of looked it up, the ones that kind of resonated with me the most, and it's called Goal Imagery Institute actually. And I ended up doing it was like a 6-month course from them. And it was like a little bit longer than that, around like 7-8 months, around there, 6 to 8 months. And then, so that's like the first level. So it's called ACC, which is Associate Accredited Certified Coach, ACC. Then there's PCC, which is Professional Certified Coach. And there's MCC, which is Master Certified Coach.
So from like ACC, like what kind of things do you learn? And then like what would be the difference between ACC to PCC? Like,
so it's like the fundamentals are same, right, for everybody, but it's like how much more experience you have as a coach, like how much do you have things hands down. It's like certain aspects to like your conversations that like some things you can get a pass as like an ACC, but then you have to kind of like, let's say if we're talking and I say, we're allowed to say great. We're allowed to say great, but without any emotional emphasis on it.
Right.
Like I can't say like, great, let's go. I can be like, great. So what about like I can say it like that.
Right.
So it's like little things like that. The way you say things. It's like there's levels to it, right? Like how basically how good of a coach you are. There's like a special like an outline, basically of like a structure you have to follow. Are you hitting all those points? Are you talking about resources? Are you talking about guidance and support? Are you asking what questions? We really emphasize on what questions. Like don't ask yes or no questions. Are you setting a measure for the entire session, for the entire coaching session? Is there a measurement of like the goal? Are you focusing on, are you like adding any of your own experience? Or sometimes like you'll have like a client that's something that resonates with you a lot. Like maybe if someone comes to me and they're talking about their passion, and I really want to give them advice, but you have to hold that back and be as neutral as possible. So sometimes that happens. and being emotionally neutral. And you can't give them any advice. You just have to ask questions based on them. So your ability to do that and like be as centered as possible. That's like how you follow that structure of being a coach, right?
Okay.
So
So
like
is there
levels to
like a final exam, or is there like, do you just do like a scenario type deal?
So
or?
there's a training, and then we do an exam for like the institution you train from.
Yeah.
And then after graduating from that institution, then you do another exam at ICF.
Okay, so what are the exams like? Is it like a sit down? You have 3 hours, you like write this multiple choice, or is it like they give you a Scantron and an HB2 pencil? And they're like, "All right, fill this out." If there's more than 3 C's in a row, it's fishy.
That's so funny.
A, C, C.
No, it's very simple. The more so on the exam, the more so focus is on ethics, because ethics is a huge part of it. Right?
I guess it would be, yeah.
Right, you can't like confidentiality, the legality of the things. It's just like the ethics is very, very important.
Yeah.
Like, can you tell anybody else about anyone else as a coach, or like you're coaching somebody else, or what they said?
Right.
Can you use that as an example? Are you like? It could be like, are you potentially like seeing that person like in a relationship? It could be like there's a lot of. It's mostly ethical, you could say.
Yeah.
It's called like a CKA, like an assessment. And like that's under ICF, so you do that assessment. Yeah.
Like a guy couldn't come to you and be like, "So I'm at a kilo right now. I'm looking to flip that and build my empire. What do you think?"
Yeah, like
great.
Yeah. So you can't.
There's probably some ethics around that, right?
Yeah,
like it has to be like a law-abiding goal.
Exactly. So like. There's also jeez.
Like, I really want to get through this list of people I want to murder. Can you coach me through that?
Yeah. So I think goal number 1 should be him.
You know what? I actually don't like that person. Let's stick with him. Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
That was giving advice. You're not allowed to do that. That was not a what question.
Like, so who do you like dislike the most? Right? That's,
Yeah. Let's get through this thing.
Which person really like ignites a lot of anger in you? If you close your eyes and you just think for a minute, what's the first face that comes to mind? No,
like, I feel real good about this session.
No, I don't do that, guys. Please don't come to me with hit lists to me, please. I will not help you with that. I'm sorry.
I wonder if this will be the clip we use for this week.
Oh my gosh. Yes, out of all clips, out of all the knowledge I share, you guys end up just putting this out. Like, just cops at my house that night tomorrow morning. I'm sorry, we're going to have to take your license back. Yeah.
That wasn't a real session.
That's hilarious.
But no, there's like personal agendas that can kind of come out with it too. Like if you don't feel like, I think the biggest thing as a coach is like, there's a huge friendship that goes on because you're going through that journey together. Out of all my clients, I tell them like, we're doing this together. Like it's a journey that we take together. It's not like you on your own, or I'm like guiding you or anything. We're doing this together. So it's like you have to really gel with that person, have like a personal connection first. And then going forward, you're like, hey, that person finds value in the coaching. I find value in investing my time into this person. Then it's a real. Then even from both sides, then it's 100% effort and 100% investment that goes on. Yeah. So like, there's a lot of ethical sides to it.
Yeah. And once someone's been under your coaching for a while, do they become like part of your network kind of thing, or is there a time when like you might end up working with one of these people because you've helped them? And
potentially. So like we also do like a thing called like bartered coaching. So lots of coaches, like if someone says like, look, man, I'm trying to figure something out. I can't pay you right now. But what I can do is maybe I will help you build your website. And you can coach me in return. Right. And it's the coaches like it's their choice, right? Lots of coaches do bartered coaching. I've done bartered coaching myself. So it's like different services that you can exchange. But like to answer your question, basically, like that's it.
Yeah.
So basically, you get accredited. You got your ACC. Are you ACC?
Well, like,
or are you higher than that now?
No. I'm still learning.
Okay.
I recently graduated. Nice. I still have to take my like ACC exam like later. Okay. Like I think because you also need a certain number of hours. I
was gonna ask if between them you go away and get experience and then you come back and do the.
So what you need to do is like you need to have a certain number of completed hours. like saying I've coached this many people for a certain number of hours, and then you can apply to get your ICF license as ACC. So you need like a certain number of hours. So the higher level you go, the more and more hours you need in terms of like getting that certification.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's like kind of how like a trades works. Your like first year is your like apprenticeship, and you get like whatever 1,000 hours, and then you go back and do your next accreditation, and then you go to the next thing.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when someone comes to you now, so you've got whatever, you're coaching someone, they come to you, they're like, I need a life coach. What happens? Like, do you guys just like hang out for like the next little bit? Like, do you help them if it works through like one project, or do you help them for the rest of their lives, or like how?
Well, it's completely up to them. If they tell me, I want a life coach for like a week, I'll be like, okay. If they tell me they want a life coach for life, I'll be like, okay. It's like completely up to the person.
I'll be like, okay.
All right.
For life?
Yeah.
Put a ring on it, brother.
Emotionally neutral.
Yeah,
always, even in casual conversation.
Put a ring on it, brother.
Yes, exactly. You got it. So, so the first thing we always do is we always urge them to like do a discovery session. If they show any sort of interest, I say, I do this, and if it could be of some sort of use to you, it could be some sort of value to them, we should do a discovery session where it's free of cost. But it's like they kind of come to you and like they kind of talk to you about what they want to work on. You kind of tell them what you do. You talk about your it's kind of like a trial, basically, like a 30-minute session. And they kind of see the feel for it. They're like, oh, you know what? I really like this. Right. This actually like could be really beneficial for me. You know what? I want to try it out like another week, and then next week they come, they pay you, and then they're like, okay, I want to sign up for like a monthly or 3-month plan. They join the plan, and then you kind of But it's like most of the clients that I have, it's like a continued relationship with them. It's like always friends. And like always like kind of talking to them, like, how's things going, stuff like that. It's like a friendship, but also I'm like as a coach as well.
So do you bill them like, is it like you do hourly sessions?
Yeah.
Or nice. And then do you also like just chat with them kind of outside of that? Like they can just call you up? Or is it like a lawyer where you're like, you call me, that's $10 an hour on the phone?
Jeez, no.
Yeah, you call me, it's a 1-900 number.
Oh my gosh. Consultation fees, huh?
No calling after 10 p.m. My kids are asleep.
No, but no, honestly, it's always like call me whenever. Like, again, it's like not that like I'm like some coaches might do that, but for me, it's like as a coach, like I'm here to always support you in anything you need, and like it's like a lifelong friendship, basically. Right. I'm coaching you, I'm helping you, stuff like that. So like, obviously, there's like you pay by the session, but no, you wouldn't pay. Like it's like if you ever need to share anything, you ever want to talk about, you're always like welcome to. As long like not like you're on the phone like this happened, and I'm like, man, I gotta go. Like it's been 3 hours, I really gotta go. But,
now I'm about to charge.
Now like I can't, but like it really depends. Like I'll charge for the hour, but mostly that. But like we also do like group sessions. Okay. So like group sessions as in like workshops on certain themes where we're because they also teach us a lot about like the neuroscience of coaching and like the impact it has and like how it affects your like psychology on the brain and like how it's proven, stuff like that, right? So and even like certain secrets. So like we did a recent like our first workshop actually, like knock on wood, God bless, ended up being sold out at McEwen University.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, and the title was like Happiness Squared. So our focus was talking about happiness and like how to maximize it and how to be like happy without any certain reason. Being happy in every situation, every circumstance. Yeah. What are the what are the key secrets? What are the key principles that people have followed? And as human beings, like how we can use those to impact our psychology to maintain like a happy frame of mindset continuously.
Nice. Damn.
That's intense.
So I'll you know what? Since we're on that topic, I'll actually share that right now. Cool for you guys. You guys, didn't come to session, but complimentary. Yeah, complimentary tips
on the house.
So the number one thing is that's leads to most happiness is friends and family. So spending time with friends and family, people that you love. As social beings, we crave social interaction. So number one thing. Second is being in a state of flow. So being in a state of flow, as in like we're talking right now, it's like kind of being really immersed in a task.
It's like in the zone.
In the zone,
right?
Like,
Yeah.
Like, do you play any sports?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you play?
Hockey.
Yeah, you play hockey. Of course you do. You're white.
I haven't for a while, but I used to.
You play hockey as well?
No, I play football.
You play football?
Of course
Yeah.
you do. You're white.
Of course you do, yeah. No, but so it's like when you're playing hockey, do you really feel like a track of time? Like you're so immersed in the task of like
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
where like time slows down and you're like, there's the shot.
Yeah.
But
Like you're
time
so
hasn't
immersed in it,
slowed-
like you kind of don't think at the moment.
Yeah.
You're just very immersed in the task itself. You're feeling the moment, being as
Mm-hmm.
present as you can. So that state of flow, that's the second secret of happiness, and the third one is like optimism and gratefulness. So always maintaining a mind of gratefulness, like a state of gratefulness.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that by like I do this every single day where when I wake up after I meditate, I do like grateful journaling. So whereas like I just write 5 things that I'm grateful for, and I try to like change it up every day. And then before I sleep, I write down 5 things that I'm grateful for. That it could be anything. So it's like those 3 are like the key secrets. And another thing that I can add on to that is coming back to the friends and family. So like depending on your environment and influence, that can be also like a major factor that we spoke about, where so every positive person can increase your in your circle, like your top 5. You know how it's like the top 5 friends. Have you heard that saying? It's like your top 5 influences make up who you are as a person.
No.
Yeah.
No, but I've heard similar ones.
Similar stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it's got some truth to it scientifically, where every negative influence can bring down your happiness by like 7%, and every positive person can bring up your happiness by 9%.
Oh wow.
So if you kind of even just change your influence, like let's say you're in a really bad environment, right? And even if you change that environment, you can drastically boost your happiness levels just by being in a better environment, people that are inspiring you, people that are motivating you, people that are positive, stuff like that.
Yeah, man. I think we've all experienced that. Like even just like you were saying with hockey teams or like sports or whatever, even art clubs. Like we've all been part of like a team that sucked and everyone was down and like people didn't get along on the team, and you're like, this sucks. Like I don't even like going to practice.
Yeah,
100%.
But you've also been on a team where everyone's buddies, and it's like it's easier to win when you're playing
everything
with
clicks.
the family.
Yeah.
It's like, and the timing's just better. Like everything makes
The
sense.
chemistry overall.
Yeah.
Team chemistry is crazy, dude. Like everyone talks. Well, everyone used to talk about when OKC beat the Warriors, and it was like they weren't better. There was no guy on that team that was better than Steph Curry, but it was like that team was just a whole team. It was like an undeniable. Same with the Raptors last year.
Yeah, and it's such an intangible thing. Like you can't make that happen.
Yeah.
It just has to happen.
It's literally like on video games, they just go chemistry. Like they just give teams a chemistry mark. Like we don't know, but we
don't know what it means, but
Exactly.
it makes you better.
Yeah.
If you like each other, it works out.
Yeah. And even in comedy, like being around other comics that are like grinding or running shows or working hard, it makes you. It's that type of situation where you're like, this is all positive.
Yeah, even showing up to shows, man. Me and Ben Prue, I remember one time we did a show in Regina, and it's still one of my favorite shows ever. But me and him were just good buddies, and we were driving down, and we were having a blast on the way down.
Yeah.
And then we got there, and we went for like dinner in the bar, and like we were joking with the bartender, and like the waitress was like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good night. It's gonna be fun. You guys seem awesome." The front desk people were like super nice to us. It was like the whole day vibed, and it turned into like this unbelievably good show. And it was like, it was just the chemistry of it.
It can happen.
You just connect, right? It's just natural connection.
Yeah.
And the feeling when it's not going well and not connecting well, like you just
it's like if me and Ben had been grumpy.
It's a horrible. It's the complete opposite of that like joyous feeling of like everything's like flowing right now.
Yeah, you take a car ride with a comedian that you don't like to Regina, and then you
just
get in there and
gripping
you're like,
the wheel, just like
and it's like this. I don't know. It's just a domino effect, because then you go in and the front desk lady sees you walk in with like a sour face. She's just like, "Oh fuck, here we go."
yeah, here we go.
And so like,
He wants to speak to the manager.
No, I think influence is key. Like even in terms of like growth and stuff like that, like you got to be selective. It's not being like, I've had to cut people off where like I don't know, I'm at a point now where I'm like, it's weird, but I can like sense people's energies. You know, like how some people just have an energy to them, like they have an aura.
Yeah,
you can tell it by anything, like the way they talk. Even it's like, are you a glass half full, glass half empty guy? Like, are you like, fuck, the bus is late? They're like, oh, look at that, the bus is late.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you know, and like now, like even after doing coaching, like one of the things they teach is like, you know, reading people's energies through their, like the way they're speaking. So it's like now being able to, like, I can tell like people that are on similar energies, like coming to spiritual energies, right?
Yeah.
And like, you know, that influence is like, I'm like at a point where I'm like pushing for people like around my circle that are like either the same or like higher energies than me.
Yeah.
So that elevates me to be like, you know, even more higher energies.
It makes you want to be better.
Yeah. Exactly.
Makes you want to do what they're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude, that's another easy life lesson that relates to everything from sports. It's like playing with the guys who are better, you're going to push yourself to be better.
Exactly.
You'll always raise yourself to that level, but on the flip side, you have to watch that you don't lower yourself to the other levels.
Yeah.
Both. Yeah. Both happen and are hard to control sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes like you'll have people in your life where you say, man, this person might have very low energy in terms of like, you know, the scale of like positive and negative, like maybe even like family, right? Yeah. But like you can't cut them off. But what you can do is like, you know, at least limit your time or something like that. Like I've had people in, like, you know, people that I know very close. But what can you do? Like you can't let someone else hinder your own growth in a sense.
Yeah, if you don't have the space to take that energy on, then you have to like find a way to just say, sorry.
Yeah.
You don't put that shit on me.
You're a once a year friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Come to a show, then I'll talk to you.
You're a Christmas friend.
Yeah. I'll say happy birthday on your birthday on Facebook. If it reminds me that it's your birthday. Oh no.
You're one of those.
That's so funny. Well, we're up at an hour.
All right.
What are you thinking?
Great.
You want to plug just a little more, kind of what you do, where people can find you? What?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if anyone who kind of knows, so it's we have a Game Changers podcast and Game Changers coaching. The handle on Instagram, you can just DM us for both. It's GameChangers_YEG, and the other one is GameChangers_coaching. So you can DM us if you have any questions, if you want to chat, you know, literally about anything. If you're interested in coaching, you can find me on LinkedIn. We have a website, gcscoaching.com. So you can go there, kind of learn more about what we do. And yeah, and you know, I hope you guys, I guess, two things I'll say to close it off is, I always tell these people, like, the two secrets that I've learned to happiness that I always apply every day is be grateful and live a life of service to other people.
Nice.
Right on.
I have nothing as profound to say.
Follow that, Jim. Give us a little
Follow
diamond,
that, Jim.
diamond
well,
from the soul.
I think you're all really beautiful people, the 7,000 of you that are listening. And you guys should follow me at Kersey on Instagram and at YEG Stand Up on both Instagram and Facebook, where I try to promote local shows.
Awesome.
Alex?
Go to comedyaf.com for all of my shit. See you later. Enjoy the rest of your lives.
See you guys. Thank you.
Bye.